Hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest, Valentina Velez. She's used to be Ken's student last year, and this year she moved to Brisbane. She's now working in her field, and we are here to interview her and get to know a little about her professional experience in Australia, and hopefully help you guys who are looking for jobs in your sector, you guys who have experience back home and are looking for jobs in your area. Maybe this interview will help you as well. Okay, so Valentina, thank you so much for accepting our invitation for this interview. And I want to ask you first if you could tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, Tatiana. Thanks for having me. Well, I was studying, as you said, in Cairns. I studied for 2 years. Well, I lived in Cairns for 1 year and a half, or a couple of months more. I came to Australia like 2 years ago. It's going to be 2 years and a half. And I started studying English at Sydney and in Sydney, and then in CCV. And then I started to study a diploma of leadership and management, also in CCV. I'm back home. I graduated as environmental engineer in 2016. And yes, like I worked a couple of years in my country, like 3 years in Colombia, since I was studying. So after I got my degree, I have 2 years and a half of experience. So yes, I am an environmental engineer. As I said before, I work in water infrastructure projects, sewage, water supply, drinking water supply, that kind of projects. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. So can you tell us a little about when you came to Australia, you had already developed, a good experience back home. You were working a lot and in your sector. And when you came to Australia, you probably developed some kind of strategy to find work and then find work in your field. How was it? Can you tell us a little about this strategy you created to find a job?
Yeah, for sure. I started to assist some of the workshops that student have in Cairns develop to get to know more about how is the cover letter and the CV that jobs here in Australia ask for. Because back home I didn't have to do any cover letter, right? So when I was looking for jobs in applications like Seek or LinkedIn, I realized that I have to do more papers, like the application. When you are applying, you have to include a cover letter in most of the applications. So I didn't know about that, and I started to look for this kind of information in workshops provided by the government or in free workshops that I just looking in Facebook, for example. You can see a lot of events that are happening. And that's how I started to improve my CV and to make it more similar to the words and to the things that Australian market are looking for. So I changed my CV. I also realized that, for example, my career in my home country was called different. So I am environmental and sanitary engineer. That's how is my diploma. But when I was looking for all this information, I realized that here they don't call it like sanitary engineer. So I create my LinkedIn in English because I have it, but in Spanish. So I changed it. I put all the information in English. I put that I was living in Cairns, that I was open to get a job. And then I realized that I have to change my title, because I was using sanitary engineer, and I changed my title for, well, I have been playing with that title for a couple of months, like environmental engineer. Sometimes I put water resource engineer or water engineer or project engineer, that keywords that you need to know when you are applying for a job. And when I changed that, I received a message from a recruiter on LinkedIn. So that he wants me to know, he wants to know if I can move to Mackay, but at that time I couldn't. But that gives me like the hope to apply for other jobs and like to be sure that I can at least be called or interview or behind this kind of approach. So I will say that my main strategy was like looking first, understand how is the market in Australia through workshops and just to reading articles or looking on internet, how you can develop your CV, your cover letter, or how you can apply for jobs. I also look for what kind of apps you can find professional job. So I learned about Seek, LinkedIn, Indeed. Well, I don't remember anything now, but yeah, that's it. And then one of the most important things I think is to acknowledge and to recognize what are the keywords for your industry. So yes, like things like water engineer, or maybe there are technical things that are not called the same as your home country. So you need to start to understand that. Well, and my strategy was make a lot of connections through LinkedIn. As in the workshops, people said that you have to connect with people, but not just sending the connection. It's also important to send a message, try to really connect, to make a bond or something with the person that you are talking to. So I did that. I knew a lot of people through LinkedIn. I knew also people from my country that were working in my industry, because it was easier for me to talk with them because I can speak in my language, and they can like make the comparison of the things that I knew, that how works my industry, and because they are already working here, they can give them like a idea of how it's different. So yeah, I think that that's one of my strategies, to look for people to be from your country on LinkedIn that are already working as in your industry here, and try to connect with them, like invite them to a coffee, or well, some people will be really happy to help you, and maybe there are other people that could be really busy. But I will say that if you try 10 times for different people, at least 2 or 3 will answer to you. And yeah, I will say that a lot of people is really keen to help you, and you can be surprised how people is so open to share their information, because it happens to me, and I am also trying to do the same with people that is appreciating me. What else I will say that is another strategy is I also did volunteers, or try to connect with organizations or industries that are related with my field. For example, here in Australia, there is something that is called Australian Water Association. So I joined the Australian Water Association. I did a mentorship program with the Australian Water Association, and in that way I start to know more about how is the industry working here, what are the most important companies, or the most known companies here in Australia that work in my industry, and also to know more about the laws because that's also important, like their yeah, legal requirements or something or things like that.
Great, lovely. I think this is something I always remember when I think about you, is like as someone who never gives up, and you went, as you did whatever was necessary to learn about your sector and to learn about the businesses, and meet people through LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn is really fantastic. So I
Thank
think
you.
these things you've done, like every day a little, were the things that helped you in the end, land this job. So I think this is a very good tip you gave. So let me ask you about this current position you have now. Can you please tell us how you found this position, and what is the position, the name of your position, and what encouraged you to apply for that?
Yeah, well, I am working as a graduate environmental engineer. Even though I have a little bit of experience in Colombia, I am working as a graduate. Well, I applied because one of my connections, I am also in a lot of groups on Facebook. Well, I imagine that for every country it should be, I don't know, like people like Brazilians in Australia or Colombians in Australia. So I also part of a group that is called Latin Engineers in Australia. And someone posted, a position, and I applied, even though I knew that I didn't fit the 100% for the profile. I applied. I didn't get that job. The company sent me an email saying like, thank you for applying, but this time you didn't get the job because there were people with more experience. And I said, okay, thank you. I would like that you keep my CV for next opportunities. And thanks for letting me know that I didn't get the job. I didn't get that job at the moment, but later, like a couple of months later, the company needs someone urgently, and they didn't want to go through all the process of like looking for CVs again and all of this stuff. So they called me and asked me if I was working or if I would be interested in a graduate position, because it was different to the position that I applied before. And I said yes, because I thought that it was a good opportunity for starting my experience here in Australia. So, and it was something really new for me, because my experience in Colombia was in a field different from the one that I am working right now. So yes, I said yes, and I went through all the process, like the interview, and I finally got the job.
Awesome. Good. Okay, so when you talk about this process, what does it mean? Like, when did they call you? Did you do an interview online or face to face? How long this interview was? If you remember? And what kinds of questions did they ask you?
Yeah, well, they set an interview. It was with 3 senior people from the company through Zoom, because I was living in Cairns at the moment. And yes, I had the interview through Zoom. I don't know, it lasts like 30 minutes or something. Because this one was a graduate position, I didn't have like a lot of technical questions, but they asked me like, tell me about yourself. That's the question that always people is gonna ask you. So I think that's something that you have to like study that question and try to write it down, because in that way you can remember what do you want to answer. Yeah, they asked me that. Also, why did I want to apply for that company? Why did I want to that position? if I was happy to have that position. They asked me also about my visa, about my if I want to stay in Australia for a long time, or if I want to come back to my country. And I think that's something that they are always going to ask you, because they want to see if you're gonna be in a long term, if you are looking for something like really long or just for a while. And I think that you need to be honest with that question, or with all the questions, but especially with that one. And yes, it was more about my motivations and the things that drive me into that position, because it was a graduate position. So yeah.
Cool. All right. And through this experience of your interview and recruitment process and everything, what was the most challenging thing for you about this whole process? And I have another question. So since you are from Colombia, English is your second language. So was this a problem for you during the interview? Do you think this was challenging? Do you think this was like a problem for you to express yourself? And did the recruiters or the interviewers see it as a problem, or they didn't really, worry about your English? How was the English in the process?
Well, I think the most challenging thing about doing all this process for me is my confidence. Having enough confidence to say, I have enough English, I know I can communicate, I can express myself, I did a great job I have experience, and I don't know, like value yourself and try to sell yourself. It's a little bit hard, because you are always thinking like, my English is not good enough, I'm not gonna understand, blah, 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 blah. But you realize in your day-to-day life that you are understanding everyone, or you are having a life in a English country. So you need to try to work with that, like be more confident. I would say that's something that is still like something that I am working on. And regarding English, well, it's not a problem, but it's something that you need to be aware of, that it's not your first language. Maybe you're not gonna be communicating as you would be in your native language, but you can do it. You can express yourself. Maybe, if you feel that you can express yourself in a way, you can look for other words, or try to, I don't know, like try to express yourself. It's like, maybe it's not gonna be the same, but you can deliver the message. So, well, of course, it's something that recruiters and employers are gonna look for, because, and also it depends on the position. If you have to write reports, or if you have to communicate with customers or something like that, they are gonna be worried about that. I'm not gonna lie, it's something that you need to work on your English. So, but if you're in a point that you feel that you can understand most of the things that you hear, or that you can communicate, I think it's good enough to have a conversation. You don't have to be 100% perfect to start to looking for a job, or to be sure that you can contribute in a position in a company. So yeah, I mean, they know that you have a background. Well, the good thing here in Australia is that they are used to have people from all around the world. So I think that they are conscious about that too.
Awesome. Yes. So, and another question I have for you is, why, in your opinion, why did you get this job? Why were you selected? what do you think was the, that you had, that you were able to express or showcase yourself, your talents, your experience that made them decide to select you?
Well, in my opinion, is that they saw potential in me because, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can feel sometimes that you are no, yeah, and that it's gonna be hard that they get you the job, but they already saw your CV. They already read it. If you got at the interview, it's because they think that you have potential. And when I did the interview, I think that I expressed that I was keen to learn, that I was keen to work hard, that I was passionate about my career, that I want to improve, and I was yes, eager to take the position and to do my best. So I think that that's it. Like they saw that I have potential and I have a motivation, so that made sense to select me.
Yes.
And of experience too.
Yes, yes. This is something that what you said, I think it's so important because sometimes I see international students who come to Australia and start working in hospitality, and no problem with that. I guess the main problem is that they just stay in this sector and sort of forget the background, the professional background they have built throughout their careers. And with the time, sometimes they become less motivated to do what they are doing. So in my opinion, the longer it takes for them to invest in their profession, the worse it gets in terms of motivation and confidence. So I think you did a great job, hunting for jobs and finally finding a position. You are not only able to apply the skills and the experience you have developed throughout your career, but also learn how a professional and environmental engineer in Australia works. And I guess this is only the beginning for you. I'm sure like many great possibilities in the future will await you. And so before we finish, I want to ask you, have you got any suggestions for those international students who, just like you, have been working in any, field or sector in their home countries? They have a good resume, they have great experience, they are talented professionals, but here in Australia, they haven't found any jobs yet in their sector. So do you have any suggestions for them or any ideas to make them feel more confident in applying for these jobs?
Well, I will say that first, that don't wait to have 100% of whatever skill or talent that you think that you need for applying for a job, because you don't need that. You need to work try hard to get that job, and in the pathway you are gonna learn and you are gonna improve yourself. It's not, you don't need to wait, because that happens to me too. I was saying to me, I'm gonna wait to have 100% English. I'm gonna wait to have a master, or I'm gonna wait to have all this knowledge fresh again. And it's gonna, I don't know, it's that you start to do it, start to do it little things, trying to improve your resume, apply for many, I don't know, 1 or 2 jobs a week. And I would say that to make you confident, try to keep updated with the information, to look through Seek or to LinkedIn, what are the people are talking about in your industry. Try to analyze the jobs applications that you are looking for, or look for, if you feel that you are doing so hard and nothing is happening, just try to look for help, like with the student hub or someone that can give you another point of view. Maybe there is something that you need to improve, but don't postpone the things. That don't procrastinate. Like try to do it and keep. I mean, more than keep motivated is like try to make it like a discipline, because finding a job is like having a job. You need to like set times. For example, if you want to, I don't know, like apply at least for 2 jobs in a week or one. It depends on your time, but you need to set goals so you can find your job. And I know that it can be daunting and it's a hard process. But as soon as you start to get some interviews, you're gonna see that you will improve and improve and improve, because you will become an expert. The more that you do, the more that you learn. So I think it's just try to start to do it.
Awesome. Valentina, thank you so much for talking to us today. You definitely gave so many interesting tips for students who want to apply in their sector. And thanks again for your time. And I wish you all the success in your career.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. And I just wanted to let the students know that I actually got a lot of help from the Student Hub, from Tatiana, from Gabi, from Dani. They helped me a lot to improve my CV and my skills. So if you can just access to these kind of resources that are for free, just start to, at least for these things, is a good beginning. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.